Hi and welcome. My name is Paul and this is Upicha. Today we'll be exploring photographs from the photographer Vivian Maier. Before we start, I want to point out there's a link to a video in the comments section of this video that defines asymmetrical balance and the brightness weight illusion, so you can get more out of this and other videos. Also, I want to point out that although asymmetrical balance and the brightness weight illusion are concepts that transformed my ability to create imagery and also to understand and get more pleasure and enjoyment out of looking at imagery, they are not the be-all and end-all of art, in my opinion. There are lots of artworks that don't use these concepts that are very good. So by articulating these ideas, I'm not trying to assert that this is the only criteria by which art is judged, but simply one means. There are so many different ways to communicate through artwork. Understanding these concepts has certainly, as I mentioned, greatly helped me, and I make these videos in hopes that they're going to help you as well. And just as an example, this panel painting of an aggregation of 10 images does not utilize the concepts of asymmetrical balance or the brightness weight illusion, yet it's still an excellent work of art, in my opinion. The way I interpret the structure, the geometry of this photograph is this small dark area here on the right is counterbalanced by this large bright area comprised of the wall, the windows, and the human figures in the car on the left. The way I perceive the structure of this photograph is these small dark shapes here, the head, the tie, pants, the jacket, together form an aggregate, which is the small dark or the weight of the photograph, and of course these trees over here on the right. To counterbalance on the left, these large bright shapes. Generally, there are some dark shapes, obviously, but basically speaking, it's small dark equals large bright, according to the brightness weight illusion and asymmetrical balance. I hope people don't try to racialize these comments. Same thing here. These small dark figures on the left are counterbalanced by this large bright area on the right. Same thing here. Small dark, large bright. The two human figures are close to center. So really the majority of the weight influencing the balance of this image are created by these large shapes here and here. So small dark equals large bright. The way I interpret the structure or form of this image is this figure plus these two figures here serve as the weight on the right side of the image. And if we were to draw a line down the middle, then the left side of the image would be comprised of this wheel, the human figure here, car, and importantly, these two dark shapes here. So basically, this plus this plus this plus this plus this equals this plus this plus this, and everything, here and here. Yes, there's more to the image, but the major characters you can see balancing each other. The way I interpret the structure of this image is the human figure on the right is counterbalanced by the soft, dark shapes on the left. Now, emotionally, this is a pleasure to look at. It's fun to look at the character of the man and his hat and the contrast of that with some of the advertising here, and to appreciate the shapes, the squares, the circles, the squares, this vertical column and so forth. All the parts of this image fit together beautifully. But I want to point out that in my experience, I've tried to take photographs like this many times. I've seen a figure through a window and also acknowledged the reflection of something from across the street in the scene. But because I didn't understand asymmetrical balance or the brightness weight illusion, I simply made a mechanical recording. And what I'm trying to argue is that Vivian Maier and other photographers of her caliber created images of this quality because they understood these and utilized these concepts. Without a sense of balance between the parts of this image and her very precise calculation, making all the parts of this image work together, the photograph really wouldn't have been memorable, in my opinion. It would have just been another snapshot that was cute, you know, the man reading the paper through the window. But the picture, part of the picture's merit is the mathematical, the geometrical part of the experience of enjoying this composition. Vivian Maier was a composer, just like a composer of symphonic music. You know, a composer is thinking about all the instruments and all the notes and how they all work together to produce a whole sound. And Vivian Maier is also a composer. Her experience is something that you get all at once, whereas music is over a period of time. But nonetheless, this is a very precise composition. Vivian Maier was a photographer that worked as a hobbyist. Primarily, she was a nanny to children who took pictures in her spare time and developed her photographs in her bathroom. She never showed any of her work to anybody during her lifetime. She was highly secretive and protective of her work, which is unfortunate because, in my opinion, she's one of the greatest photographers in the history of the medium. Fortunately, we have the privilege of witnessing her work now and enjoying it. I hope that you've gotten something out of this video. If you did, please consider liking and/or subscribing, and feel free to add your comments below, and I thank you for your time.